Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing a video today of me making some wax melts. These are actually going to be products I go on to advertise to sell. So I've got my own company which I sell wax melts and candles. So I'm going to start filming some of these videos of me making them. So today I'm going to be doing it in the 50-gram pod size and the sample size 1 ounce. 28 grams, fill it to the top though, sample pot. Yeah, so the wax I use is the KeraSoy Pillar Wax 4120. It is by far, in my opinion, the best wax to be using for wax melts. Cold throw, amazing, and hot throw, also amazing. It holds the scent when being burnt. It holds the scent for a long period of time, depending on, as long as you're not using a cheap oil, then a good quality oil lasts for ages in this wax, I find. So for example, my 50-gram pods, they last for on average 50 hours of burn time. Obviously cut them up and yeah, the whole section lasts for 50 hours, but break it down into little pieces. But yeah, so this is the wax I use, and I'll be making them today in this video, showing you how I go about it. The scent that I'm going to be making these in today is rhubarb and custard. So this is one of my more popular, or bad lighting there, but anyway, one of my more popular fragrances in wax melts. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be making them, because I'm getting very low on these. So I'm going to do a small batch for the video. Okay, so in today's video I will be melting my wax in a melting tin, which is one of these. I'll be melting it on the hob upstairs. I normally use an eye melting machine. It's a big machine for melting wax in, because I normally make these in huge batches. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to do it in the commonly made approach, which is using one of these. So I've just got a small one here because I'm going to do a small batch. So to measure out the wax, you put it on a scale, and then you tear that down to 0. So basically taking off the weight of the melting tin. So now it's on 0, and then you would put the amount of waxing that you need. But how to work that out is, if you want to work it out, I know that each one of these pods holds 50 grams, just over. I fill mine right to the brim. So 50 grams for one. So for every 2, that's 100. That would be 200, 300, and 400. I'll do 8 of them, and I want to do a couple sample pot sizes. These are my sample pot sizes. These hold 27, 28 grams. Again, filled right to the brim. So I'll do a few of those. So then if we measure out half a kilo, so 500 grams, then that will be enough to do this small batch here. So the wax I use for all of my wax melts, always now, is the KeraSoy Pillar Wax 4120. This is by far the best wax for wax melts. Excellent cold throw and a brilliant hot throw. Dries really well, no sinkholes, and yeah, holds the scent really well. So I will be measuring that out. Hopefully you can see that. Try my best. But yeah, so I'm going to pour that out up to 500 grams. So we just tear that down to 0. If I can get an even base. There we go. Right, now 500 grams. Right, so that is now 511 grams currently. So I'm just going to take 11 grams out. That'll do, just over. So 500 grams, 0.44, next to nothing. It's quite full in this container, but when you melt that, that will go down a little bit, so I'll be happy to use this for now. Okay, so we've got the wax on the hob now, so that's going to start melting down. I've put the handle away from the flame so then it doesn't get so hot. Just leave it over to the side a little bit. That's going to take a little while to melt down. So whilst that's now melting down, I'm going to go get the fragrance oil ready, measured out, and then get the pods and the pots laid out on the table, so we're all prepared for when this is ready to get the oil in and any dye if we're going to dye it, and then straight into the containers. So this is what I normally be using to melt my wax in big batches. That does hold up to 90 kilos of wax. So that's a big amount of wax to be melted at one time. I never put 90 kilos in at one time, only really halfway, a little bit over halfway. It just takes too long to melt down. And as I'm taking it out, I then just top it up to melt, whilst I'm then distributing the melted wax into the container. So then it's always continuously melting new wax, so that tends to speed up the process, I find. But yeah, that's what I would normally be using, but for today's video, I'm going to be doing it the other way, and then in another video I will show you how I go about making a big batch. So this is the first time I've actually filmed myself making any wax melts. It's so different. It's like the added pressure of trying to speak and saying the right words and moving the camera around. Yeah, it's a lot more work than what I thought it was going to be, but yeah, so far so good. So now, having your containers out prepared so then we are ready to pour our wax straight into is an important part, because the wax is continuously cooling down and you don't want it to get too cool before you're pouring it into the containers. Causes issues I'll go into more detail of what issues can come about with wax that's too hot or wax that's too cold in a separate video. But yeah, wax that's too cold is going to cool down a lot quicker when it goes into a cooler surface, which this is going to be, especially on my granite. I've got a granite worktop here, and normally I would heat this up a little bit with the heat gun, just so the base of these is not drawing the heat out into the granite. So all little tips and things like that I will be doing in videos as we go along. There's loads of little things to watch out for, to be honest. People don't realise why they're getting sinkholes. Again, it depends on the wax they're using, but it's the little things like this. When I pour the wax into here, the bottom of this is going to be a lot colder than the middle and the top. So that's going to draw the heat down quickly, and that's going to shrink the wax. It's going to can cause heavy frosting at the bottom and sinkholes in the middle, and you get dips. So difficult. Hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to say. But when the wax is level, if you've got a sinkhole, there can be a big dip in the middle. It's because it's been cooled down too quickly, or one of the issues is because it's cooled down too quickly. But yeah, right, anyway, talk about that in another video. Let's get these things laid out. So what did I say? So that's 100, 200, 300, 400, and a few of these. So probably going to do 4 or 5 of them. 4 really. Where have I got those? And that will be our 500 grams. Just for this sample video. So we can get these out of the way. Always have a couple to the side, just in case you've got more wax than you thought and you need to pour it into one of these for a little tester, or for yourself, you can use it yourself. A little sample maybe. Obviously you probably only fill it halfway up. If you've got excess, if you fill it all to the top, then you use it as stock. Right, so now getting the oil measured out. So I've got this container here. I've just a couple of days ago, fragrances and another scent. So we're going to give this a little clean, so we're not contaminating our scents. You can use alcohol. You can use the alcohol cleaning product. I do use that, but in this one, it's not going to focus, but hopefully you can see that sort of. Anyway, yeah, so you can put a little bit of that on the tissue and clean it out, or simply just clean it out. And I find it cleans out fairly good without it. I tend to use the alcohol in my pourers because a lot more of it with the wax, it dries to the side and in the inside. I've cleaned this one out already, so we don't need to do that today. One there, I can go there. Right, okay, so percentages, big important point, percentages of oil to wax. How heavy do I go into it in this video? I won't go into it too heavily because I'll save it for future videos. Makes good sense. But I will say that, so anyway, first of all, quickly, this obviously got a weight to it. Put it on the scale, put that to 0. So now your scale is at 0 and it's ready to add your fragrance. Now, the fragrance amount. There is a lot of talk about 10%. 10% for everything. And 10%, how do I say it? Can work and it can't. Probably, normally, usually, it doesn't work or it doesn't give the best result, is what I'm trying to get at. Just adding 10% with every oil that you use is not going to give the best result for every oil, because some oils are heavy and thick, some oils are lighter. So there is a different effect on the fragrance throw with heavier oils than lighter oils. Again, for this very first introduction video, I'm not going to go too heavy into that. I will do in other videos. So yeah, again, another reason to like and subscribe to yeah, see that video when it comes out. That would be a really good one to watch, actually, to be honest, for good insight into better wax melts, how to get a better fragrance throw. For this particular fragrance throw, for this particular oil, rhubarb and custard, I am going to be using 10% for this one, because 10% on this oil, where I buy it from, it might not be from where you buy it from, but where I buy this from, 10% works and I'm happy with the result. I have tried lower percentages. Obviously I haven't tried higher, because then my COP label would not be legally valid, because I'm over and above the threshold. You can go over and above 10%, but then you'd have to get a new CLP to legally be, I don't know what the right terminology is, to have a wax melt that's got a higher than 10%, you would need a more substantial CLP label. So to stick within the legal requirements, 10% is always the maximum for your basic CLP labels, or lower percentages I'm on about, obviously. Right, so anyway, quickly, before I'm talking too much and bore you all to death, we're going to put 10% in. So we've got 500 grams of wax. 10% of 500 grams is 50 grams. So I use a big pipette, and I can literally just go into, can you see that there? Am I too zoomed in? Right, okay, there you are. Obviously you can see me putting the pipette into the fragrance oil bottle, and I just squirt that out into the container until I build up to the amount you want. I find this so easy to do it this way. You can pour it in. If you pour it in, then you get a lot of spillage down the side, a lot of wastage oil. Obviously oil's the most expensive component that goes into candles and your wax melts, bar of obviously excluding expensive candle glasses. But yeah, in terms of ingredients, fragrance oil is one of the most expensive. So we're at 40 grams now, just under. So 45. few drops so I can get it bang on. This is the good thing about having a scientific scale. You know that you are on 50 grams. So I'm on 50.07, 50 grams, which is that. If you had a scale that doesn't measure in decimal points, so in terms of 50, I'll show you a bit better. Here, look, 50, oh God, talk about autofocus. Right, 50.06 is what this amount of oil is. Obviously I took off the weight of the container. But if you had a scale that didn't give you these 2 decimal points, then you might be at, not knowing it, 50.99. So you're almost at an extra whole gram of oil. Now that might not matter so much when you're measuring out 50 grams worth or more. It does, because it slightly goes over the 10%. But at the lower level of, if you're just measuring out 5 grams of wax, an extra 1%, so an extra 0.99%, you know, almost a whole gram, is almost an extra 20% of oil, which then takes you way over the 10% COP label. Anyway, just a point to point out, again, it's probably a bit too heavy for this video, and I'm probably confusing most of you, maybe, hopefully not, but ones that understand, hope you can understand what I'm saying. If not, I will go into that again a lot more detail in a fragrance video that I will be doing in the near future. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date for when all these new videos do come out. Right, okay guys, just getting the camera into position. Got to move quickly now because the wax is all melted, and see what temperature we're at. We are at 70, oh, it's not going to focus, sorry guys. 74.8 anyway is what it says. So I did that to just over 75 degrees. Melted, it's all melted into a liquid form, you can see. It's got a little chopstick here for stirring. I don't want to get too much air into it. Again, that's another problem that causes too many sinkholes. Again, I will do a video on how to avoid, at best, sinkholes. Right, so that is now cooling down. I'm going to add my fragrance when it gets to a certain temperature. That temperature I'm not going to tell you in this video, not because I'm being mean, just because I don't want to give you everything in one video, and also because I am running a business and I've done endless amounts of testing, and because this is one of my most popular fragrances, I don't want to give away. But you want to be aiming for somewhere between 65 and 68 degrees, but it also depends on where you're getting your oil from, you see. So I don't know where you're getting your oil from in this fragrance. A different temperature is going to be a different result for everyone, depending if they're using a different oil. So not to sound mean, it's just that if I say, hey, add it at 65, and you add it at 65 and it doesn't work for your oil, then maybe it looks like I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, hopefully you understand that, and bear with me. Future videos, more will be revealed. Right, so I've got my pots laid out now. This is getting close, but not there yet. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to heat up my, again, I still can't remember the name of this, but it's a catering tool for dispensing sauces, pancake batter, things like that. They're not that expensive. You can get them, well, get them on Amazon anyway. But this is cold, okay, so all the inside of this is metal, it's cold, it's chilled. When I add my wax into that, that is really going to draw the temperature down quickly around the edges. So to warm that up, I'm just going to use a heat gun, so that then will not shock my wax so much in terms of drawing the temperature down. So it's probably going to be quite noisy now, but yeah, all I'm doing is just warming up the metal. Got my oil here still in its measured out container. I'll turn this off in a second and I'll tell you what I'm going to say. I will warm that up a little bit more in a second, but that is it doesn't take long to warm up the metal. Candle wax dyes. If you want to dye your waxes a certain colour, you would add your wax dye colour in. You would be liquid form or chip form or block form or micra. You add that straight away when you take in your wax off the boil. Not boil. When you're taking your wax off the temperature, you do not want your wax boiling. Yeah, so I would have already added that if I'm going to colour it, but rhubarb and custard, I don't colour this particular scent. So it's going to be a natural colour, so I haven't added any colouring to this. Okay, so that is pretty much there. Right. So now I'm going to finish heating this up. I'm going to add my oil into the wax. Perfect. Stir that. That's hot enough now. Get this out of the way. Right. I'm going to keep stirring that. Again, I do not want to be stirring it so fast that I'm getting air into the wax, into the liquid wax. That will cause, like, you know, like the chocolate bar Aero. When you pour the wax into the container, it's going to be like an Aero. There's going to be like little bubbles of air. The more you froth up and stir violently your wax now, the more air bubbles you put into it, and that is going to go into your containers. That then causes sinkholes, is a contributor to sinkholes anyway. So I can smell this now, it's smelling really good. Oh, there's so much I can talk about. Honestly, there's so much I can talk about, but I don't want to give you all in one video. Literally, I'm going to be trying doing videos as often as I can and giving you small and regular tips in each video, so then you build up a you know, your own sort of knowledge gained from me of how to make better wax melts. Maybe you're making great wax melts already, then that is perfectly fine, but you might hear something that I say that improves your wax melts, and then you can either do that or not do it. It's up to you, but yeah, if I can give you something that improves your wax melts, then hey, job done. Right, okay, so that is right. Now you can pour it straight into the containers from here, but that is more tricky, I find. So this here is what I use. So I just, you can see on the camera, pour that into there. That will easily take all of that in. Alright, so that is now ready to dispense. Try and give you guys a good view. So it's just a button on top that I'm pushing down. See that there, just to push that button that pulls up the thing that blocks the hole at the bottom. and I fill mine right to the brim. Try not to overflow. Right, so that's about, well, that is 400 grams of wax now poured. Right, now if you remember, that is what I said was going to be the 500 grams. I forgot to add on that we put 50 grams of oil into our mix, so we had 550 grams in total. So that's why, as you see, I've added 2 more sample pot sizes, which we got, 1 full one and 1 quarter one. So that is, remember I said I fill mine right to the brim, which is going to be a few grams over. So taking that into account, of these being 51, 52, 53 grams, and these being 28 grams, that is our total weight distributed across these here. So all of my containers, bar this one, as we know, that one won't be going out to sell. That would be something I play about with for myself indoors, are filled to the brim. So they're all at the top level of the containers. And as you can see here, the first part of the wax that is cooling down is the wax at the bottom. I don't know if you remember, I said partway through this video I usually would be heating up my base so that it doesn't shock so much the base of the wax in the container. That's why this is cooling down faster than in the middle and the top. I know I won't get any sinkholes with these due to many factors. I will speak about those again later on. But yeah, so these are going to be wax melts that I'm going to label up with my stickers and CLPs labels, and will be going into my stockpiles for selling. I will show you the end result once these have hardened. What else can I tell you now, or what else can I remember to tell you now rather? Yes, here's a good one. So I'm now a stockist of KeraSoy pillar wax, the 4120, the exact wax that I've used here. I am stocking this now on the website at an amazing price. I'm trying to become rather, added on to what I sell, as in candles and wax melts, supplies for people to make candles and wax melts. This is literally only just started within the last couple of days, so my delivery of KeraSoy pillar blend wax 4120 is due this coming week. I think it's the 7th of May. I've got it already up on the website with that note on the item, due 7th of May. You can pre-order, so I've left that open now, that you can pre-order that wax, or this wax. You can pre-order this wax and I will get that sent out to you. It comes in the 5 kilo tubs, so it's not the granule form, it's just a solid 5 kilos, just chop the amounts out that you need. But yeah, so that is something now I'm stocking. I will be stocking these containers once I've finalised the price with the manufacturers, and I'll sell on to you at a better than normal price than what you can get them elsewhere. Well, that's my intention anyway. It all depends on the price I get back, but yes, it will be at a very reasonable price. And other things coming about will be dyes for colourings, glassware for candles. I want to get lots of glassware that you'll be able to see. That's all going to go on the website rusticbarncandles.co.uk. Yeah, and other bits as well, but I'll obviously mention them in future videos. But for these now, I will show you a finished product once these have cooled down. And I hope I haven't bored you and put you off watching my future videos. Again, if you have already learned something or liked what you're seeing, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also follow my Facebook page. On my Facebook page you will see the quickest launches of new releases. That's just the fastest way for me to get that out there in social media. YouTube videos, that will be secondary to Facebook. So yeah, please like my Facebook page, Rustic Barn Candles, my Instagram page, Rustic Barn Candles, and my YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, what you're watching this video on. Yeah, I think that is it's going to wrap this one up. Again, as I do more and more videos, they will get better, I promise, but hopefully this one's not too bad. Alright guys, so now just showing you the finished products. This is how they've hardened. I'm still going to leave these for a week or two to cure, even before I sell them. I've got tons in stock over here, so I keep all my stock. All these need stocking up anyway. Oops, you can't really see it too well, but all in here is where I've got all my pre-made melts. Obviously at the minute I'm getting a bit low in this scent, rhubarb custard, but I'm going to do a big batch. I'm going to do it tomorrow now. I haven't got enough time to fit it in today, but yeah, I'll do a big batch tomorrow. But yeah, just wanted to show you this finished product here. You can see this is it in its natural colour, this wax. So KeraSoy pillar wax 4120. This is now in stock for you to buy from Rustic Barn Candles. That's my store, which I now am a stockist of this wax. I believe in it so much. I'll be honest with you, it's the only wax you're ever going to need for wax melts for candles. I need to do some further testing with it with candles, but it's not the best wax for candles. So for wax melts, it's amazing. So you can see here, these are all as flat as possible on top, so it's the perfect finished product in terms of just how flat it is on top here. The only very slight dimple on these. You always do get a slight dimple on the smaller ones. On the bigger ones, as flat as anything. You can see it there. Absolutely perfect. As you can see on the bottom, like I said, no issues. Frosting comes at a later date, but you can get it instantly on bad waxes. Those of you who are using, let's say, cheaper waxes, might be experiencing it straight away, especially paraffin, heavily paraffin waxes. You get it, you can get it immediately. So this is a soy based, it's a blend. I don't really know what's in the blend, but it's a blend of waxes, but it's a majority soy wax. So it's a soy wax, vegan friendly. Again, this is now what I'm selling, 5 kilo tubs, £20.50. I don't think there's really any stockists doing it cheaper than that. £20.50 plus postage, obviously. So that's £20.50 per 5 kilo tub, and it gives you amazing products like this. Again, this is the only wax I use for wax melts. KeraSoy pillar wax 4120.